I'll be with you in a minute.
Cartwright, no!
Room 14, Sheriff.
Open up! Hello, open up!
Hey, what's a man have to do to get a little sleep around here?
Hoss.
Candy, what are you doing here?
Hoss, what happened?
I don't know.
Hoss. Hoss, what happened?
I don't know.
Nobody asked you in here. Get out. Get out.
I'm trying to help.
In the hall. You two.
I knew Edwards well. Just sold him 1,000 head of cattle. There's a room key, Sheriff, on the floor.
I guess it fell off the table. All right, mister. Why'd you do it?
Do what? What's going on?
I'll tell you what's going on. You're going to jail. You're going to stand trial for first-degree murder, and then you'll hang. Terrible thing. Just terrible.
How long are we supposed to sit here? I didn't get but 2 hours sleep before that fight started. I'm going up to my room.
Sheriff Purcell said that no one was to go upstairs until he said so. I wouldn't get him annoyed if I were you.
Where do you think you're going?
Upstairs to bed.
Not till I say so.
I've already told him that.
Come on with me.
Well, Sheriff,
Yeah?
any objection if I go over to the livery stable and bed down on some nice clean straw?
Why, no. Not if you can fight your way past my deputy outside. Well, this key works the door. What I want to know is how many others will do the same thing.
Well, just one, the master key.
Master key, where's that kept?
Kept downstairs in the desk drawer. Locked.
Was it there tonight?
Yes, I looked.
You sure? Sure enough to swear to it under oath?
You bet I will, Sheriff.
Hey.
Sheriff?
Mr. Ogilvy, this is terrible. I mean, shooting a man's one thing, but a knife in the back. Big man like Hoss Cartwright using a knife, I just can't get over it.
Body was lying here face down. This is the knife that was in his back. Hoss Cartwright was standing there.
Rest of the room the way you found it?
Yeah, pretty much so. That table was knocked over when I busted through the door. A window locks a mouse could bust. How come these door locks are so good?
Well, when the hotel was building, a hardware drummer came by. Didn't have any money, but he had a trunk full of fine locks, and old man McGregor bought them all.
All right. All right, you can go.
What were you saying about locks?
Well, the room clerk said there's only 2 keys will open that door. The one I found here in the room, and when it was locked up downstairs. Well, looks like the clerk was right.
Yes, and I'll be interested in Cartwright's explanation of this.
This is Mr. Ogilvy, gents, the county prosecutor.
Ever see it before?
Yeah, in Edward's back.
What about you?
It's Hoss Cartwright's. The one just like it.
Did Cartwright have a knife when you searched him at the jail?
No, sir, he sure didn't.
I've got all I need, Sheriff.
When'll I see Hoss?
Well, tomorrow, the next day, maybe. Whenever Mr. Ogilvy says you can.
I need a room.
Court finds the evidence presented by the prosecutor more than sufficient to substantiate the charge. The defendant, Hoss Cartwright, is hereby bound over. The court directs Sheriff Purcell to produce said defendant in this courtroom 3 days from today to stand trial on the charge of murder in the first degree. Court's adjourned.
I'm sorry, Cartwright, but that's all I can do for you.
Hoss. There's only a hearing. It doesn't mean a thing.
Nobody talks to the defendant except his lawyer and his kin.
I was only...
I told you that before. Prosecutor Ogilvy's ruling, it applies to the courtroom as well as the jail.
Never been so glad to see anybody in my whole life.
How's Hoss?
He's not hurt or anything, but things are about as bad as they can get.
Where's the jailhouse? This way. Have you seen him?
The sheriff wouldn't let me in. He won't let anybody in except his family and that lawyer.
What lawyer?
Court appointed. He quit.
What?
It's good riddance. He didn't spend more than 3 minutes in the jail with Hoss. The hearing, he didn't open his mouth. I tried to get him another one. There's not a lawyer in this town who wants anything to do with the case.
I'll put these with the one I took from Candy. Well, none of you need them till after the trial. You can pick them up on your way out of town.
Oh, why just us? There's other people in town wearing guns.
Because I say so. Nathan Ogilvy, county prosecutor. Salt Spring is a quiet town, Mr. Cartwright. We want to keep it that way. You Ponderosa people come equipped with explosive tempers and short fuses. We already have one murder to prove that.
Just a moment. You're the prosecutor or the judge?
As a father, Mr. Cartwright, I sympathize with you. As a prosecutor, I must tell you your son stands accused of a most heinous crime. And I'm sworn to see that he pays the full price the law exacts for that crime.
I want to see my son.
Of course. Take them in, Sheriff.
Got here as soon as we could.
We changed horses 3 times while Pond Road. You think you worked for the Pony Express?
Hoss, tell us what happened.
I wish I knew. I mean, I don't really know. You see, it all started, boy. I sold this fella Edwards 1,000 head of steers, all on a handshake deal, just a plain handshake guarantee, while you were in San Francisco. Well, I got to worrying about it, see, and Candy and me, we rode out here to check on him, and we got here, and sure enough, he'd backed out on the deal. He decided to buy from Mort Becker at $1 a head cheaper. So I went to him and tried to get him to pay me the $2,000 earnest money that he'd guaranteed me on a handshake to start the drive. He wouldn't do it. Tried to throw me out of his room, and we got into a scuffle. And sometime during the scuffle, he or somebody hit me over the head, and I don't remember what happened after that. God blame it, I just don't know.
Well, Mr. Van Buren regrets it, but it's impossible to take another case at this particular time.
Doing about as good as you did. 3 tries and 3 turndowns.
I didn't get the pretty speech. Just plain no.
Candy, did you say there were 4 lawyers in Salt Spring?
Oh, more like 3 and a drunk named Barney Sturgis.
Burgess. Wait a minute now. There was a great trial lawyer in Sacramento some years ago by that name. I wonder if it's the same one. Where's his office?
Around the corner, up the stairs.
Door's open. Come in.
Mr. Sturgis?
Yeah?
My name is Ben Cartwright.
How do you do?
My son, Joseph.
How do you do?
Mr. Sturgis.
And, this is,
Yeah, I've been seeing you around on the street.
How do you do?
Sorry this place is so cluttered. Yeah. I'm not much of a housekeeper. Yeah, there you are. Oh. Yeah. Hello. A little friend of mine. Good soldier. I was with him when he died.
Come on, let's get out of here.
Sit down. Come on, sit down.
You're Ben Cartwright. Your son Haas is in jail. He's in big trouble.
Mr. Sturgis, my son is charged with murder. Now, there's no doubt...
Wait a minute. I'm going to show this young man I'm not as far gone as he thinks. I value my privacy. And I sit in saloons alone. But I listen. I hear what's going on. You're trying to hire a lawyer. But they're all too busy. The truth is, Nobody wants to buck Nate Ogilvy. It ain't smart. Not if you want to make a living in the law business in this town.
Is that how you feel about it?
Oh, it doesn't make any difference how I feel. I'm not fool enough to think I could defend a murder charge. And sure, you're not fool enough to want to hire me. But even if you had a good lawyer, it wouldn't help much. What you need is a miracle.
A miracle or not, my brother didn't do it.
Your opinion. Unfortunately, the good people of Salt Springs have already tried and convicted him.
Mr. Sturgis, we need legal help. And you're the only man available. At least you could get a postponement.
Won't do you any good.
Well, even a clerk could get a postponement.
All right, find a clerk. Leave me alone.
You used to have a reputation as a fighter. I remember you in a murder case. Any case would be a challenge.
Before this. Now nobody would trust me to witness a signature, let alone go into a court. And I like it that way.
Mr. Sturgis, my son needs your help. And you're going to have to help him.
I could never make it. No, go away. Leave me alone.
You'll make it. We'll see to it that you'll make it. We'll walk you around until you're stone sober, and you'll walk into that courtroom and you'll get that postponement.
You don't know what you're asking.
Yes, I do. There's got to be a shred of guts left in you. We need your help.
All right. I'll try. What was the fight about?
I've told you 3 times already, Mr. Sturgis.
Yeah, but I didn't hear you. Wait, you did tell me something about money, but I want to hear it again. Now, you and Candy rode in. Then, Candy took the horses to the livery stable, and you went into the hotel.
That's right. I went in the hotel, I went straight to the clerk. I was just about to register when he told me that Mr. Edwards was up in room 14. So I went right on up there.
You mad at him? You hunting for trouble?
I told you already, Mr. Sturgis. Mr. Edwards owed me $2,000 earnest money that he was supposed to pay when we went on the trail with the cattle. He didn't show.
You went on up to 14.
That's right. I got up there and the door was open. He was in there having a drink with Mort Becker. I went in, I told Mr. Edwards I wanted the $2,000 and I wanted a contract for the rest of the money to be paid when we delivered the cattle. And he told me the deal was off.
Is that why you killed Becker?
I didn't kill him, confound it.
How long are you gonna let this drunk keep it up?
Well, he's doing better than he was. What are we going to do? Is he the only lawyer we can get?
Some lawyer has trouble remembering what he just heard. And now he finds his way to the courthouse.
Well, there are times when he can't. You know, most times I feel sorry for people who hire old Bottle Barney. This time it don't make no difference. In over 20 years of law work, I never seen a more open and shut case.
What made Becker mad?
Well, I told Mr. Edwards that Becker didn't have 1,000 head of cattle. Didn't even have 500 unless they were stolen.
How'd you know that?
Well, less than a week ago, he was bumming meal money around Virginia City.
Hey, you know, it's a good thing Ogilvy didn't hear you say that. How could Edwards give you $2,000 if he was broke?
Dad, Barney, it wasn't Edwards that was broke, it was Becker.
Oh, I didn't hear it right. Yes, Becker. It was Becker who left room 14, hmm?
That's right.
You tell me how much money Edward had in his pocket.
Be glad to, Mr. Cartwright. He had $104 and a gold watch. So if you're thinking of robbery, forget it.
He came at me with a chair, he missed, hit a table, and I took it away from him, or what was left of it. About that time, I remembered this shadow coming over my shoulder, and somebody hit me over the head. The next thing I knew, I woke up and I was looking at Candy and the sheriff.
Hit you on the head. Let me see.
Well, it was the day before yesterday. It's already gone.
And it was your knife that they found in there.
Yeah.
And you haven't any idea how it got into Edward's back.
I told you I didn't know.
All right, Barney. That'll be enough. Let's go.
No, Pa. He was a little mixed up at first, but he's doing all right now. Somebody's going to have to ask him questions anyhow.
I'll see you in court.
You all right?
Yeah. I'll be able to get to my office before I fall down. Tomorrow, if I'm lucky, I'll be able to walk into the courthouse. I'll get your postponement. I sure hate to have to take it all the way through. I'm not saying he's guilty. I don't think he did it. Why, that moose could have slapped that Edwards right through the wall. He's not one to use a knife.
Of course he's not.
Now, that makes 4 of us. But that jury would find him guilty without leaving the box. Well, I got to get to my office. See, before I go for that postponement, I got some reading to do.
I'll walk along with you.
Oh, don't bother.
No bother at all.
There's nothing up there but a lot of old law books and dust. On the corner there's a saloon. You can get a beer. I'll meet you there as soon as I track down those precedents that I'm looking for. We gotta nail this down tight. That old Judge Simpson is he's a mean old goat.
All right, see you in a little while. Put it down.
I said, put it down! I just want a little nip to nail me back together again.
Oh, you're gonna drink. You're gonna drink, all right, black coffee. I'm gonna fill you full of it while you do that bookwork. And then after that, we're gonna walk again.
I've done all the walking I'm gonna do.
No, you're gonna walk. And we're gonna go to the hotel so we can keep an eye on you, because when you walk in that courtroom tomorrow, you're gonna be the soberest man in Salt Springs.
Why don't you go away and leave me alone? I don't want this job.
Look, we don't want you either, but we're stuck with you. Now, after you get that postponement tomorrow, you can do anything you want, but until then, you're gonna do what I say.
I don't like delays, Mr. Sturgis. We've never had to call in outside help to solve our legal problems before. And since the defendant has a lawyer, I see no reason to start now. Motion to postpone denied.
If the court please, we haven't had time to prepare an adequate defense.
I'll give you time. It's 10 o'clock now. This court is in recess until 1 p.m.
So when the judge denied that postponement, he dang near fell down.
Well, if there isn't anybody else, we're stuck with him.
Well, there's got to be somebody somewhere, Joe.
We telegraphed Charlie Haskell in Virginia City, and Pa's over talking to Van Buren right now.
Well, I was hoping that Van Buren could help out Barney until Charlie gets here. And I offered him triple fee, but he's just too busy.
Yeah. So that leaves Charlie, don't it?
He'll get here as quick as he can.
Yeah, it's a 3-day ride. He ain't the best horseman.
Better not stop to pick many daisies. If it's a 3-day ride, your trial may be over.
What worries me about Barney is that shaking this morning. I ain't no telling what he'll be doing this afternoon.
No, don't worry about Barney. He'll make it. I'll see to it that he makes it hour by hour if necessary, but I promise you, he'll make it.
Just till Charlie gets here.
Yeah, if Charlie gets here.
I need a drink bad.
Coffee only. Keep trying. You're doing fine.
The sheriff went into the murder room first. Then you, then Becker.
That's right.
What was Haas doing when the sheriff broke through the door?
He was hanging on the end of the bed. And he asked me what was going on.
Did he say anything about being slugged over the head from behind?
No, but he looked dazed. Like a man just waking up.
He was out on his feet cold for 3 or 4 minutes or lying on the floor. That's why he couldn't remember.
Yeah, but you can't prove it. Bruises gone, his eyes clear as a summer day.
Look, I don't know about you, but the 3 of us who know that there was another man in that room, the one who slugged Hoss and killed Edwards.
Yeah, I'm trying to believe that. But I keep asking myself who and why and mostly how. It takes a key to work that lock. And the key was inside with Haas and the corpse. Ogilvy's sitting there waiting for us. Any mention of a blow on the head of another man, we would get laughed out of court. Courthouse bell. Court will convene in 5 minutes. Yeah, haven't been able to do that in years. Now if I get my head to working, maybe we'll give Mr. Nathan Ogilvy a fight that'll be worth the trouble.
Barney, you gotta win this one. It's my son's life.
Sheriff, will you describe to the court what you first saw when you stepped into room 14?
Well, the room was a mess. It'd been all broken up. There was a body lying there beside the bed.
And who was that?
It was Mr. Edwards. Been stabbed. The knife was still in his back.
Where was the defendant?
Oh, he was standing at the foot of the bed, about 4 feet from the body.
Have you seen this knife before?
I sure have. It was sticking in the body.
If the court please. To save the court time, the defense stipulates that the knife is the murder weapon and the property of Hoss Cartwright.
Your witness.
You say Hoss Cartwright was standing at the foot of the bed. Where were his hands?
The end of his arms, where they are now.
Was the defendant standing unsupported, or was he hanging on to the foot of the bed?
He was holding on to the foot of the bed.
Yeah. Were there any marks or bruises on him?
Not that I seen.
A man is in a terrible fight that we've been hearing about, and yet there are no cuts or bruises. Isn't that remarkable, Sheriff?
Well, maybe his knuckles were swole up a little bit. He's a big man. Big hands like that, it's hard to tell.
Did you examine the defendant for cuts or bruises?
I sure did, in jail, in the same cell I usually put you when you're too drunk to get home.
That's enough, Mr. Purcell. You'll testify properly, or you'll be occupying that cell for 60 days yourself for contempt. This is not a saloon or a theater. It's a court of law. Any more levity, and I'll clear the room. Proceed, Mr. Sturgis.
If the court please. I have no objection to the sheriff telling the truth. I know the cell in question well, and I'm sure the voters are all impressed by the zeal with which the sheriff does his job.
Begin to sound like the old Barney Sturgis of Sacramento.
When you examined the defendant, what did you find?
Not a mark, not a scratch.
Will any key other than these two unlock the door of room 14?
No, sir.
Is a key necessary to lock the door from the inside?
Yes, it is, from either side.
This one was found inside the room. Where was this one?
Well, that one was locked in the drawer of the desk in the lobby. Nobody was near that desk but me. I was downstairs all the time the fight was going on.
Your witness.
We've heard a lot about the fine locks in your hotel. What happens if one of your guests wanders off with a key?
I send the handyman after him.
And suppose he manages to elude that handyman?
Well, that hasn't happened except once in 10 years, and then we just replaced the lock. We have a dozen or so left in the basement.
You heard Mr. Edwards shout, "Cartwright, no!" How would you describe that shout?
Scared. Made chills run up my spine. That's why I got up and dressed.
Thank you. Mr. Sturgis, your witness.
Remember, I told you about this fella. Just a few days ago, he was in Virginia City bumming mules, and he's a thief.
Thanks. That may be the very club I need. You were doing business with Mr. Edwards, Mr. Becker.
I sold him 1,000 head of cattle.
So that when he was killed, you lost not only a friend, but the sale of a herd.
That's right.
How many head of cattle do you own, Mr. Becker?
Well, I sold 1,000 head.
I didn't ask you how many you sold. How many cattle do you own? How many steers wear your brand?
I don't have a ranch. I'm a dealer. I buy and sell.
We know what you sold. Where do you buy?
Small ranches, where I can make a profitable deal.
Small ranches. Would you name a few?
Spread up Cold Creek. Brand slips my mind. Another one over...
You don't remember, huh? Is that because you deal in stolen cattle, Mr. Becker? Or because you were here to promote some earnest money for a fast trip to another state?
Your Honor, I object. The witness is not on trial here. The defendant is.
Order. Silence in the courtroom.
Wish I could have gone further with Becker.
Well, you got under the prosecutor's skin pretty good.
Well, at least the jury heard that much. Yeah, but will they remember? That's the question. I'm missing something. Keeps nibbling at the back of my mind and then sliding away. I know my bones were in the right area, but... Oh, no. When is that Charlie Haskell coming to take over this case?
He'll be along as soon as he can get here, but you're doing real good. You're doing a real good job. Now, you gotta keep on fighting.
Yeah, well, there must be an answer somewhere.
You get a good night's rest. I'll see you in the morning, huh?
Oh.
Here's your key.
Huh.
Good night, Barney.
What is it? Who is it? Ben Cartwright, wake up! Come in here!
Were you knocking on the wall? I thought I heard you calling.
Yes, I was knocking. Look. Present from an unknown admirer. Or an elf, or a banshee. It was a knock on the door. Nobody there. Just that bottle at the foot of the door. The rest of it's in that glass there. Got sloshed out when I pounded on the wall for you. Now, if you're not going to put that out of my sight, at least put it where I can't reach it. Or they want to start grabbing for it. You know, somebody wants me drunk. Falling down drunk. Try to make a jackass out of myself tomorrow in court. And that somebody's beginning to sweat.
Would you do something for me?
Well, might as well. I'm on your payroll.
Go down to the lobby. And stay there for count 50. Then come back.
Yeah.
No, you won't have time. I want you to go right now. No, never mind the boots. Just go. Quickly.
Okay.
What did you hear?
Nothing.
You were down the lobby.
No. Nothing. Just the people in the lobby.
You didn't hear me shouting?
No.
Well, while you were down the lobby, I was shouting. Here. Cartwright, no! Cartwright, no! You didn't hear that?
Not a word.
What does that mean to you?
Oh, it means this place must be solid as a blockhouse.
And it also means that it couldn't have been Edwards who shouted Cartwright, no. Because whoever did that shouting couldn't have been inside room 14. They'd never have heard him. He had to be out in the hall and then disappear. That's right. And Mr. Becker's room is just down the hall, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Take him just about as much time to shout and go back to his room as it did to put a bottle at the foot of the door and disappear.
Now, maybe we know the who. Huh?
But we still have the problem of why. It's pretty hard to prove robbery when the deceased has over $100 and a gold watch on him. And we still haven't got Becker inside behind that locked door.
Wait a minute. I think I may be able to help you establish that robbery motive. If the telegraph office is still open, I'll be able to do it tonight.
Yeah. Hey, wait a minute. Now, that glimmering in the back of my mind is beginning to take shape and substance. I think I may be able to put Becker inside room 14. Hey, don't forget this.
All rise. Court's in session. Mr. Ogilvy.
Your Honor, I have other witnesses I could call. However, I feel strongly that the evidence already heard proves beyond any shadow of a doubt that the defendant, Hoss Cartwright, did knife and kill Warren Edwards. The prosecution rests.
Mr. Sturgis, you may proceed with the defense.
You know me, Bottle Barney. The man the sheriff puts in the jail when he's too drunk to walk home. And knowing me, you kind of have to feel sorry for anybody who had me as a lawyer. If the case was anything much. No, Mr. Ogilvy has been waiting for me to make a howling idiot out of myself. But I don't think I'm going to oblige him. Not today. He's been having a fine time building a scaffold for my client. Why, enough to scare a man silly if he couldn't see that it was built of cobwebs. Now, what happened was a man walked into room 14 in the middle of a fight, hit Hoss Cartwright over the head, killed and robbed Warren Edwards, and went. Now, Mr. Ogilvy has 100 facts to prove that it couldn't happen. But I know better. Any man who's been a bottle fighter for all the years that I have can't be very smart. But I was able to figure it out. So the rest of you must have been able to figure it out, too. Now, in case that there's one or two of you has some doubts, I'm going to ask His Honor to allow us to adjourn to room 14 and show you how it was done.
Objection. Your Honor, how long is the court going to allow this old charlatan to continue this nonsense?
What's the matter with you, Mr. Counselor? You afraid I'm right?
I know you're wrong.
Then why the objection?
Fair question, Mr. Ogilvy. So fair that I'm going to indulge Mr. Sturgis in his request. Court will reconvene in room 14 of the Salt Spring Hotel.
Your Honor, if you will come over here, and Mr. Ogilvy, right here. Yeah, that's comfortable? Fine. Mr. Becker, you were the first one in, so will you come in here, please? We need a corpse, and you're just about the right size, and you know how the body was, so if you would lie down on the floor there, as the body was, it'd be very helpful. That's fine. Now, Sheriff, if you'll bring in the defendant, put him where you found him. Now, if you would give me the key, please. Thank you. Oh, the table was turned over. And I don't think we need to bother with the broken chairs. Is everything the way it was when you found it, Mr. Ogilvy?
Yes, Counselor. Now, can we get this silly game over and go back to court?
Very quickly, Mr. Ogilvy. Now, Sheriff, if you'll come with me out in the hall. Now then, if you'll simulate breaking in the door.
The key's out here.
Yes, I know the key's out here, but you go on. Break in. Come on. Since Mr. Becker has agreed to be the corpse, I'll go through the motions that Mr. Becker made. So you two gentlemen do now exactly as you did then.
I went over to look at the body.
Becker, straighten up the table.
Well, then I ordered Candy and Becker out of the room.
Exactly as it happened then. How did Becker say it? There's the room key, Sheriff, on the floor.
Out of me.
No, sir. I really found that key on the floor. That walking whiskey vat's tricking you, Sheriff. He's trying to get me into trouble so he can get that Hoss Cartwright out.
Your Honor, I have a telegraph here addressed to Ben Cartwright from Edward's partner. It was delivered before court opened this morning. As you see, it states that Mr. Edwards was carrying $10,000 in cash. Now, since Mr. Edwards never paid Mr. Becker for that hypothetical 1,000 head of cattle, that money should still have been in Mr. Edwards' possession, along with that $104 in gold watch, but it was not. So if the money is not on Mr. Becker, I recommend that you search his room and baggage.
Thank you, Mr. Sturgis. Sheriff, I want this man jailed immediately. Court will reconvene in the courtroom in 5 minutes. Mr. Cartwright, all charges against you are herewith dismissed. And the court tenders an apology for the people and the prosecution.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Sturgis, it appears I misjudged you. If you can learn some courtroom manners, you just might turn out to be a fine trial lawyer. Court's adjourned.
Congratulations, Barney. Congratulations. Barney, you did it.
Not without your help. I'm afraid your attorney Haskell from Virginia City is going to have a long ride for nothing.
Well, I'll guarantee you he won't mind a bit, Barney.
Don't you worry about Haskell now. He's going to be awfully happy to find out how you made out.
Mr. Sturgis, I'd like to buy you the biggest drink in town.
Oh, that'll be fine. But you better make it black coffee. I've developed a taste for it.
I'll take a drink.
Okay.